Hello YouTube, Matt here from Matt's Forensics, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Windows 11 side of the Magnet Virtual Summit CTF 2025. So without further ado, let's get into the video and roll that intro. Okay, welcome back everyone. You saw the first question there, and the first question of the Windows 11 section is, who am I? What is the SID for the username chick? So now, when we have our Windows image, I'm going to be using a software called Registry Spy to look at registries. But in order to find registries, first of all, you're going to have to go over to the Windows System 32 folder and go all the way up here when you see the folder config. Okay, then config. And by the way, I'm using FTK Imagerto to look at this image because that's the first software that I found that it actually works there. And we go all the way down to software. We go all the way down to the software hive, which is software. And then we go into our registry spy here. We go to open hive. And then we go all the way down until we find software. And then under the software hive, you go to Microsoft Windows NT current version profile list. So Microsoft. And then all the way down to Windows NT, we're going to hit Windows NT. Very soon, Windows NT. Current version. Profile list. And then expand that. The SID is whatever this is. And yeah, so the SID is that, which transfers out to the registry key is that which transfers out to something in binary. So I'm just going to go into this machine's registry editor. And then I'm going to import the registry key that we found. So under the software, we go there. and it can't import it. But I have it written down what it should be. I have written down what it should be here on a page on my other screen. And I'll type it in here. And so it should be all of this giant string, and it will be correct. So what was the last log off time for the user check is the next one, and is called goodbye. So in Magnet Axiom, can go back to Magnet Axiom now. And go to operating system. Actually, I'm going to consult my list of things here because Windows is probably the weakest one, my weakest topic here, so I want to keep on consulting the list that I have of Windows artifacts and Windows techniques. So our event ID will be 4634. So when we use Windows event ID 4634, it's going to load by applying the filters. And we should see something with the date of 11/24/2024, 5:36:55 p.m. And evidently that will be our time. Okay, we'll let that do its thing and move on to the next one. So in zone, this is where was Crow JPG downloaded from? So while Axiom is doing its thing, I want to go over here to close this, back to FTK Imager, and find Crow JPEG. So the Crow JPEG is going to be over here at in the user folder. In the downloads and in the zone identifier, this tree hugger site is the link that you want to copy over for the answer. Now sweet find what game was installed on this computer. So sweet find, I can't use Magnet Axiom because this is the way I was told how to find this. But I had just guessed at it because at the beginning when the CTF was actually going on first, I attempted some of the Windows questions just by guessing, based on my knowledge of Windows, having had it before. And this was one of the guesses that I made, and this guess was Candy Crush, because it's one of the ones that I see when I install Windows on my virtual machines or other computers. And that was true, but Candy Crush Saga is what it actually shows in the system. And if I get up to post, or actually I could probably show that to you. I could probably show that to you here under the user applications, I think. So it's under program files. Okay, actually it loaded up now, so let's see our 4634. Event ID, and when we go under user events, the user events log stuff, we will see 181 results for this. And when that loads up, event number 4634 is what we're going to want to see. Is what we're going to want to look for. And meanwhile that's loading, I'll move on to our next one, which was buried treasure. So it asks us, what social media platform did Mary look at a Burlington News account? Oh, it's loading now. Forty-six, 34, 11, 11. Okay, well, for the one that we're looking for, the answer on my list here, on the list here that I have in front of me is X, and that was another guess. And the reason why I made that guess was because Twitter and Instagram weren't on, or weren't correct answers. Okay, now let's go to let's go back to FTK Imager. Okay, actually, I'm looking down at my list now, and I think I should, before we go to Buried Treasure, I want you to feast your eyes on this one. So this has a one guess, and I got one guess out of one guess what the default browser is set as, and that will set the stage for some of our other ones, like the one that I just showed you about Burlington. So the answer for this one is Edge, because again, Edge is the default browser of Windows. And now let me go back to this one over here. Back to Buried Treasure. Okay, so we go to app data local. So user app data local Microsoft Edge user data default cache data. Okay, no, it's up a couple. I believe it's last browser. Okay, there we go. It should be a database called history, and we're going to export that. And then go over here towards this and go back to our downloads folder. And go to this history folder and drag it in. Under URLs, we're going to filter Burlington Free Press, and that is under x.com. So our answer there will be x.com or just x. And then follow the thread. Again, for her coding question, actually, venomous variables, this next one. If you were watching before, you'd see a file here in our FTK Imager. So if we are here in okay, if we keep on going down towards the desktop, we see down. Actually, no, it's under desktop. Okay, no, there's a Python file somewhere. I'm very sorry about this. There is a Python file somewhere. Yeah, but I saw a Python file somewhere, and that Python file was what made me do Python. And now follow the thread. Help with our coding question. We go back to this database. And there should be some Reddit in here. Yeah, so actually it's not really Python, but it's coding. So that shows us that's good. So 2 questions down for the price of 1. What is the account creation date for Mary's user? And so for this one, we're going to go down to, again, we have to pick out the SAM registry hive this time. So we're going to go over here to we're going to go all the way back down over here towards our system 32. Our system 32 and our config area of system 32 configuration. And we're going to pick out Mr. Samhive put it under downloads. And there we go, Mr. Samhive is under downloads. And now we call up Mr. Samhive under downloads. And there we go, there's Mr. Samhive. And then we're going to look into Mr. Samhive. So under domains, account groups, domains, account groups, names, name. I guess I had this wrong, but I ended up getting the date for that one of 2024's 9/24 at 3:11:51 p.m. I'll come back and edit this later on once I figure out how I actually did it. But but for now, we'll move on to the next one. So what was the name for the geocache that was completed? Again, we'll go back to the history database for this one. Okay, actually, I'll type that into the URL. Geocaching. Something fishy. Something's fishy. That is the title of the completed geocache. And we'll come back to that one. Okay, used by only the pros. This one is Proton Mail. And that was one of the first ones on this one that I got as well. And I got that one because I've played Magnet CTFs before, and they always use Gmail and Proton Mail. So I didn't even need to think about that one much. And now a stamped link is the same thing that we got when we go over here to A Leap. When we go to the SMS, when we go to the SMS messages, we go to the SMS messages and we go to this TikTok that was sent over the phone. And get the date. So I'm just going to reload the page when we get the date. So it will be the same date on that TikTok as the first one. And so that is your points. Unravel the mystery. I'll come back to that one later. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to this one later in the ones that I didn't get section. Login credentials required. So under geocaching, we're gonna see that the nickname is GeoMaryR for the username for that, and that's some points that we get. I'm coming back to this one later. I rate it 4 out of 10. This next question is going to be something that I found again using FTK Imager. And it's under the downloads folder this time, I believe. Okay, so if we keep on going down here past the edge stuff, if we go to this .gpx file, we find Blue Mountains in New York, Lake Champlain in Burlington, 6:30 p.m. clouds are rolling in. The username is Wandering for Cache. Okay. And then for this one, I was initially thinking, going out of my mind, thinking about Windows tools, but it turns out that if we see here, and this again was a guess, this other one was a guess, there's Kali Linux installed somewhere. Let's go into program files. Under WSL. So there's a system hardware. Ooh, 483 megabytes. So I'm trying to find where the Kali Linux is located. So there we go. When I look into the user folder app data, or program files, program data, and then go all the way down to packages and Kali Linux package, I find that there's Kali Linux there. An app data local. Yeah, so after I did that, I thought of some programs that might be suspicious, and after doing that, I came upon trying things like Impacket, StegHide, and other steganography programs, and the StegHide program was the one that ended up working here. And this one I'll come back to because this is one that I haven't finished yet. And at the moment of recording this, there are some write-ups out that I have read, so I don't want to mark this one at this point. And so now with that out of the way, let me come back to the where did it go? What file was an anti-forensics tool used on? And so I thought at first it was the crow.jpg, but when it comes to, I was trying a bunch of other files, but when it comes to this clue, this hint, this question, it was like, I'm gonna look at this and see if success.txt.txt was one that it could have been used on, and in fact it was used on this. So for this one up here, for where did it go, I got the points for that. So at this point, the Windows section is done. I've spoken all about the Windows section. And Now all that we have left to do is the Chromebook and the Android and Chromebook takeout, so the Google takeout. And that will be for the next set of videos. Now, if you enjoyed this, I want to sincerely thank you for watching. And also, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment on it, and subscribe to show me that I need to make more videos like this on these kind of topics, and maybe even make some videos on making CTFs of my own based on images of devices that I have. So this has been Matt from Matt's Forensics, and I hope that you have a nice day and enjoy doing more forensics. Matt out.